What I want to talk about is Gary Vaynerchuk's video that I watched this afternoon, where he's talking about authenticity. And what this means is being congruent, which is a bit of a fancy word. So the real word to use is being as yourself, being comfortable sitting with yourself. So there's a lot of different takes you can make on being authentic. One of the dangers that I found in my screen-bound life was that I was actually taking the road of getting motivated instead of getting going and getting doing. So what I'm doing now, right now, is I turned the screen off. I had a bit of audio in the background, so I even turned the audio off and decided, well, what am I going to focus on? I'm going to focus on documenting what I do. I'm going to focus on actually doing stuff and take it from there. So one of the ideas I really want to pursue is the idea that you create what you'd like to consume, and then other people who are on the same page as you will also want to consume that, and so it'll work out that way. So what I'm going to do is produce the sort of geeky stuff that I like doing. And I find this daily vlogging is actually a way of discovering my geeky side. What I was going to focus on is how replacing screens by audio gives you such flexibility. So instead of having a one-way communication of screen pouring information, whether it's even motivational information, but pouring information at you without actually having a good way to stop and record, is really a bad place to be. For example, something quite interesting came up, but because I was on the road at the time and my system wasn't set up so I could pause the audio and record something, it's very difficult to go back and pick out the exact feelings that you had at that time. So what I'll do is try and recreate my mindset at that time so that I can go back and rediscover what I was finding so interesting. So I was listening to some ones about using the power of voice, because anything we want to achieve, we really achieve through others or by teaming with others. So a couple of videos I was listening to the audio from were about having a good voice. And a good voice, not just for the sake of having a voice that some people like to listen to, but having a voice that actually helped you achieve what you wanted, helped you achieve what you wanted to give to the world. So a lot of my interests really center on information and using information. I don't want to say information management, because that sort of presupposes a particular slant to the problem or a slant to what you want to achieve. I'd say there's a few points. One is information curation, so you want to gather information, work out some way of accessing it, so you can curate things in some ways without absolutely discarding things. You might say, well, this is a pretty low quality according to some criteria, so I won't lose anything by actually just discarding it. But that really misses the point of a new digital world where you can actually afford to make the most of pretty well everything you've got. And so if something's not relevant now, is it going to be relevant in the future? Possibly. Is it noise that's going to distract you from what you really are interested in finding out? That's the risk. So what you need to have is a system or a way of not losing the needle in the haystack. But there's no need to burn down and destroy the whole haystack because you want a particular needle at the moment, when in the future there may be another aspect of the haystack that's vitally important for you or that you can benefit from. So what I want to do is have a system where you don't really throw anything away. And this is a bit of the idea of the Evernote facility that you can get online, where you can basically throw everything into Evernote and it will give you a searchable version of it. So you can curate it in the sense of putting it in predefined categories or defining categories as you go along. You can tag things. So it's got potential, but it doesn't allow unlimited variation in the access unless you have maybe a plugin that would then either dynamically do things or when I say dynamically do things, I mean when you ask it a particular query, it would then scan the information in real time and give you an answer, or whether a certain amount of pre-digestion needs to be done. And it doesn't need to be kept within Evernote. It could be digested and kept on Redshift or some other cloud platform that allows for large volume, high access analysis. Perhaps that's an add-on that's worth considering for Evernote, something that will help me curate my things, and if it's helping me curate my things. And so I've always been interested in summarizers, and so that's something else I'd consider. It's not only that helps the accessibility of information. If you think of a summary as an explanation why something may have some value to you. So it's summarizing information, one, so it will remove useless information, but also it's summarizing information so that you can get a snapshot in your head and do a wetware or a brain-based assessment of whether it is really what you're looking for.